Do you remember when you first discovered that your friends were not always your real friends? If you're really lucky, like my kids, you learn it in grade school. Unfortunately, if you're me, you learn it a little later. I was 16 years old. I had just gotten my driver's license. My steed was my parents' beat-up old 1969 Ford Country Squire station wagon. You know, it was powder blue with the fake wood panels on the sides. We were happening. And thanks to that happening car, I was almost arrested for grand theft. One Sunday afternoon in December, my high school friend Ivan Reeder called me on the phone. Now, Ivan was a hardcore programmer, just like me, and so therefore, naturally, I trusted him implicitly. After all, a programmer would never lie to a fellow programmer, right? Hey, Ivan, how you doing? Am I alone? Hold on a minute. You remember back years ago, telephones all had cords? And if you wanted to speak with a little bit of privacy, you'd grab that cord and you'd pull it across the house. So I did. I grabbed it and I pulled it across the kitchen, and then I yanked it into the dining room, and I plopped myself down in the corner of the dining room. Okay, Ivan, what's up? What am I doing this afternoon? Nothing. What's my parents' car doing this afternoon? Do I remember Keith Lynch? Keith Lynch, 25 years old? Could I give him a ride to work? Sure. I was such a trusting lad. Even more importantly, they trusted me to come to the rescue of this 25-year-old guy who was without a car for some reason, who absolutely had to get into work on a Sunday afternoon, the same job he went to every day. But they needed me. They wanted me. It felt really good to be wanted. I kind of implied before that I'm not the brightest bulb in the drawer. Well, it should have been a clue to me when we got out of the car and followed Keith into the building that was entirely deserted. It should have been a further clue to me when Keith forgot his keys to the office. And so he decided it was a great idea to climb up the wall of the office, to push up the ceiling tile, to swing his leg over the wall, to drop down on the inside and unlock the door to let us in. I'm sitting here thinking, man, this guy is a dedicated employee. And on a Sunday afternoon, too, when the whole building is deserted. Well, I really should have gotten a clue when he pulled out a can of spray paint and spray painted on the wall in 4-foot-high letters, "You lost something." And then he told us to grab every computer we could find, yelling, "Get out of here before the cops get here." Should have been a clue. Well, you've probably guessed by now that Keith was a former employee of this company. I don't know all the details, but I suspect that they probably fired him, and this is his way of getting back at them for all the harsh injustices I'm sure that he suffered. Well, we took the computers over to Keith's apartment, loaded them all into his closet, and then Ivan and I went home. And the wait began. It was a nerve-wracking couple of days, waiting to hear something come across. Somebody calling up and saying, "Hey, what were you doing down there?" But I thought we were in the clear. Then the phone call came. My dad answered the phone. "Hello? Mr. Reeder? Yeah, how you doing? Can we come over to your house?" "Sure." "To talk to the police? And they told you to bring Gary?" I was busted. We drove over to Ivan's parents' house in complete silence. Well, the police were there, and they wanted to know everything that Ivan and I knew. So we told them everything we knew, which frankly wasn't much. And then they told us to go downstairs into the basement so they could talk to our parents. So we go down into the basement of Ivan Reeder's house. And it's weird the things you remember sometimes. Down in that house, they had an old, out-of-tune piano. And we would always play songs on that piano. A lot of times by the group Queen. Remember Queen? So there we were in the basement of Ivan's parents' house with the police upstairs talking to our parents, singing Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, it's kind of surreal, but it's actually kind of appropriate if you think about it. Mama, just killed a man. I don't want to die. Well, fortunately, the police decided that the two teenage boys were innocent, and the 25-year-old disgruntled former employee with the spray paint cans and the computers in his closet was guilty. But at least I was able to learn a lesson from this. 3 lessons, in fact. The first lesson I learned was I need to not be so gullible. If somebody forgets his keys to the office, don't carry a bunch of stolen computers out of there. I mean, who knew, right? The second lesson I learned is that just because somebody makes you feel wanted doesn't mean that what they want for you is a good thing. And finally, if Ivan Reeder ever calls you up on the phone, interested in your parents' car, hang up on him. It's Toastmaster.